Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for exciting, energetic, and artisanally made Bible study. It's fresh every day. We're looking today at verses 52 and 53 in Psalm 119 as we travel through the Psalter verse by verse. But today we're looking at just these two verses in Psalm 119, and we're going to see where remembering and comforting come together. Here in this passage we have both words in verse 52, and I've said that remember is sort of our theme word because it begins and it strings itself through the entirety of this Zion division, this octenary that we're studying this week. Today we have it right here in the middle of the octenary in verse 52. Let me read those two verses for you. I have forever remembered your judgments, O Lord, and I will be comforted. Zeal has taken hold of me concerning the wicked who have forsaken your law. Verses 52 and 53 then, and you'll notice there in verse 52, he is remembering and he's comforted by it. Remember is our theme word or our prime word this week because we began with it, and it was a prayer in verse 49. Remember the word to your servant. So it's a prayer for the Lord to remember the word to him. The psalmist is saying, I know you're waiting on me. Now he's saying this confident declaration here, I will or I have forever remembered your judgments. So the confident statement is followed with, I will be comforted. So the judgments are providing comfort, but the judgments can only provide comfort as long as they are remembered. So the remembering and the comforting really are working hand in hand throughout this division, the Zion division here in Psalm 119. So we had comfort yesterday. We saw comfort in verse 50. This is my comfort in my poverty. And we talked about oxymoron, it seems like, but it's not, of course, because we're all impoverished. And the only comfort we have is his word. And that's what revives us, the Word of God. And now we're seeing the comfort again here in verse 52. I have forever remembered your judgments, O Lord, I will be comforted. So the judgments, again, are connected to the comfort that the psalmist experiences, and might I say by extension that we experience, because we will only have comfort in this life as we trust the Word of God. And then he says, zeal has taken hold of me concerning the wicked. Why is that? This word zeal is an interesting word. John Mason Neal in his translation translates it the horror. Basically means a quickening fire. It's a raging firestorm that in this passage I'm translating it as figuratively the zeal of, or the zeal has taken hold of me because of, and the zeal comes from the word because that's the great initiator. That's the great catalyst for all of this. So the Word has initiated some zeal, some burning holiness in the life of the psalmist here. And he says, but it's taken hold of me because of the wicked who have forsaken your law. So there are people that are not following the Word of God. And he's zealous. Or as Mason Neal says, he's horrified by it. So he's moved with compassion towards these that are not following the law. So if you're moved with compassion for those not following the law, what are you to do? Well, you're to share with them the great love of God. You're to share with them the Word of God. You're to, do that for them, what was done for you, so that they too can find compassion. Because there is compassion waiting them. There is revival awaiting them as well. St. Augustine said, if you'll weep over the body of a corpse in a casket, but you won't weep over the man who is without God, something's wrong. You see, the body in the casket is soulless, but the man without God is godless, and he's in a worse state. So he needs to know that there is a God who hears and remembers his word to his servant, who revives his servant, who continually blesses his servant when he follows him. I hope you'll join me tomorrow as we look at verses 54 and 55 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.